Kaizer Chiefs, the most decorated football club in South African football, and yet they lost to a team that is sitting 12th in the second division of South African football. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad because I saw this coming and I went to the game not even expecting a win. And because of that, when that happened, I was like, oh wow, okay, this has happened. In fact, I was of the opinion that around the 80th, 90th minute, I was like, you know what? Milford actually deserves to win this game because they are the ones who have been coached and they've also executed the plan that the coach gave them. And it would be unfair if they lost. This is generally my thoughts that I had about Kaizer Chiefs. And I know I sound crazy by saying this, but if you look at Chiefs from the players to the coaching, then you understand why I might feel the way that I'm feeling and why some of you are angry, which is also something that I very much understand. But what actually happened in that game, let's talk about some of the key points and also where do we go from here. Hello and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Kosi Football Club. So, the game starts, and the first thing that I see before the game even started, like an hour before the game starts, I see the starting 11. Okay, I look at the right back. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that Zita Kwinika? Hey! You remember after Chiefs lost to Pirates, I said I give up on Cavin Johnson because of that reason. Because to me, we were playing against our biggest rivals, Orlando Pirates, and the coach decided to approach the game with fear. So from that moment, I just gave up on Johnson. Every other game that he won after that, I was like, yeah, he won. But because he showed me that he is not a coach on a courage, not a coach who's going to go out there and fight. So the selection of Ukwinika was questionable from the get-go. Especially since we have Solomons who has not played the entire season. Okay, that's the first thing. Ne? I'm not blaming Ukwinika. I'm saying the selection of Ukwinika was questionable to begin with. Let's just continue with Ukwinika until the end of the match. Then we'll move on and talk about other things. Now, Ukwinika plays, right? We're playing against these men who are sitting deep. Right, I understand if maybe he's selected because we're being cautious, right? We're being cautious because we don't know whether they might attack us or not. But they don't attack us, and we see that they're not attacking us. So then Ukwinika is not as useful as you might have wanted him to be. You keep him. You have Solomon sitting on the bench. You keep Ukwinika still. Going forward, we are not offering anything wide. Mind you, Solomon's, as much as some people will criticize him at times, but he has a pace. Right? He has a pace. He can take on these men, dribble past them. Yet he's not being played. They keep Ukwinika until anyways, he keeps Ukwinika until extra time. And he wasn't going to sub him out if Ukwinika didn't say, "Coach, I'm tired, sub me out." He came to the side of the bench and indicated that he wanted to be subbed out. So the coach would have played Ukwinika the entire game if it wasn't for him saying, "I'm tired." Mind you, he wasn't offering us anything. And then to you, everyone in that stadium, besides the mistakes that Ukwinika was making, everyone could see Ukwinika is not good enough for this game. And when Solomons came on, he did dribble past people. Yet, he wasn't selected the whole time. You go to the left back, okay, left back I can't complain. Umashian is playing there. Problem that I have with Umashian is that you link him as a left back or an attacking left back. He's going to be the sort of a full back who crosses the ball into the box. But who was playing is our number 9. Our number 9 was played by the one and the only Ashley Dupree. Ne? So Umashiane is being given an instruction to cross the ball into the box. Cross the ball into the box that has who? Ashley Dupree. How does that make sense to anyone? How is Martian, even if he has the greatest technique ever, he's not going to cross the ball to two defenders around a very small Ashley Dupree, and for Dupree to win that header will be just miraculous. So it wasn't happening for Martian. Yes, he ended up changing him, which was also a questionable sub. Okay, I understand. At that time, you're thinking Martian is no longer effective, yeah? But you have Ukwinika that you are keeping at the same time. Now I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. But at this point, if you are deciding that you are keeping Ukwinika because he was keeping him, then why would you then say you are bringing on Unjabulo Ngobo as well and take off Martian? Why not when you are taking out, who's this guy? Who was injured, Vel? I forgot. Oh yeah, they were taking out Martian and they took it over to left back, and then Ngobo played with Umsimang. I then ask myself again, why in extra time are you bringing on another defensive player against a team that is sitting deep? Because at that point, you also have Ukik Tool, a very creative player. You could change your system to play a 3-4-3. Play Umode as a left wing back. On the right wing back, this side, there was still Utupri, because he didn't want to sub him either. So why not play them and play Utoli further up front, because then you're not going to ask him to track back and mark if you are worried about injury issues. So there are a lot of things that he could have done, but he's stuck with being defensive and playing it safe against a team that came to defend and to take us to penalties. He played it safe. Okay, fine, we get that. The other question is, so if you see that the crosses are not getting a target man, why not bring on Uranga early on in the game? You know what he thought? He was like, you know what, let me take Usaile, who's very bad in his decision making, and instead of playing him as a right winger where he actually chases after people and tries to dribble past them and causes some sort of problems, let me play him in the middle where he's not going to be effective at all. Where we haven't seen Usaile had a goal like incredible many times. Whenever he's been played through the middle, he's not effective. Yet yesterday we thought, you know what, it doesn't matter. Let's play him through the middle anyway, because, well, who cares? We are now just throwing the dice and trying to see what is happening. So, once again, you ask yourself, what kind of coaching is happening there? And no, the coaching is also not the only problem here. Because at some point, we'll have to address how much hunger do Kaizer Chiefs players possess. Because they themselves, sometimes, they were not convincing in how they do things. But I always go back and say but when it comes to players and not showing hunger and all of that stuff. I say to you, Edson Castillo can barely speak English, if he can speak any. He came to South Africa, he was on fire. He was just destroying fools. He was scoring goals, important goals. He's the reason we play the semi-finals of the MTN 8, right? Comes in, scores in the added time. Yet he has regressed. Umfundo Vilakazi was at the stadium. He's called up to come in. Everyone is just going mad, happy about him. But he came in and what did he do? Nothing. You know what's going to happen now? People have already started saying these development players are overrated and they will be the death of Kaizer Chiefs. Imagine that. Same thing that happened with Umtutuzi Shabalala last year. He was coming in, we're excited, all of us were excited. This man is coming in from development, he's going to do things for the team. And guess what? He regressed. You have players like Kabotoli, Bakulpele, you have Abongo Singpile, they also gained weight. I'm saying to you, you have a player like Calvin Phillips, England international, a very good player for Leeds United. Comes to Man City, they go for holiday in December, he comes back, he has gained weight. You know what Pep does? He says, you are fat, you're not going to play in my team. Ended up not making it at Man City because Pep was not going to accept that a player gained weight and is going to continue playing under him. And yet, Kui Chiefs, you have two players who are supposed to be one of our fittest players in the club, and yet they are fat. And you are telling me that you have a coach who's tolerating nonsense like that. Yes, I know Guti players should take responsibility, but I'm saying under a coach who's strict, under a coach who's not tolerating nonsense, those players will not see the need to do that. Abo Kune would not see the need to come to the practice or gym benugutshwala abomduduzisha mdansane ngeke bafike bephuzile because all coach ba weak. Abanayo personality. You can't just go out there and say I'm gonna get to Cavin Johnson because he's a nice guy, he can coach the Chiefs. You must have a history of winning for you to come and coach the Chiefs. You cannot just come to the Chiefs and coach. And now Chiefs are finding out the hard way, and it's happening. The coaching is the problem. The management is the problem. And if the management is the problem, that funnels down to how they select their coaches. And those coaches will then select crappy starting 11s, make crappy decisions during games. Why? Because everything is not make sure, and it's going to reflect in everything. And I will tell you something. Ranga did miss a penalty, and people will go to that and say, Ranga uslisil. But how do we even get to extra time playing against a second division team? Ne? How does that even happen? How do we go to extra time with a team like NFD? Siyeke penalty. No kaste ukejili penalty sesimak penalty. Right? Because I know some people are also blaming Vuma. Why did he dive to the right? Because according to Imteto nje, general, you know, at some point someone was bound to strike on the right, which they didn't do because Baboni Luguti, he's always going to the right. But ngeke si blame keeper because Guayeno keeper we Milford only saved the penalty during the game. The one that Castillo missed, he just missed. And the other penalties he just couldn't save. So we cannot blame Vuma for that. We also cannot just give all the blame to Ranga because when it did come on, he did perform. He forced a save from the keeper, I think also crossed the ball, and also there was a near miss there. So I'm not going to scapegoat one player. And by the way, speaking of players who get scapegoated, what about Yusuf Mant? He didn't play. And yet, we still did not play well. So, for all of you who are always saying Umart is the problem, look at what happened yesterday. Didn't play, and yet the team played the same way that they do when he's there. So what I'm trying to say here is that Chiefs made a mistake, and they are finding out. We are playing Swallows this weekend, a team that just got dismantled, and now they sort of, because most of their players and their coaches gone. Now you're going to play Swallows, lose against Swallows, play Arrows, who have not won a game in the last 9 games, and then they win against you. What excuse are you going to give me if that indeed does happen? Because I feel like the situation that we are currently in is the best possible situation. For Chiefs to lose, that's the only way they're going to learn. Because the thing is, the more we win these games by 1-0 and we fluke the goals and we fluke the wins and we play something that is not showing where we're going, we're going to continue saying the coach is doing well, the coach is winning matches. Kumele expose adliwe so that we can see ukuthi vele this was a mistake from day one. And I had to even say, as a man okholwayo, ngithi, you know what, sometimes when love for something is dying, you have to invest in it, because neBhayibheli lithi where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I was like, you know what, I'm so mad at Chiefs right now, let me buy each as leg up. Maybe that's gonna make me feel closer to Chiefs. I bought the kit, and then I'm still like, yeah, well, 1,100 down the drain on top of all the money that I've spent on Chiefs. And there are more people who are spending more money every other game. But the Chiefs doesn't care. They did say at the end of the day, they're a business and they want to make money. And as long as we are giving them money through merchandise, through going to stadiums, through all of these other things, they really don't care. Bona, bano Toyota wabo, bano Kappa wabo, bano Vodacom, bano MedShield, business is still running. And the Kaizer Chiefs is trending. And Abo Jessica, Abo Bobby, Abo Kaizer Mtaung Jr., they are sitting there And they know this too shall pass. We've seen worse. They're not going to do nothing. 8 years without a trophy. It's the story of our lives. What did you think of yesterday's game? We're going live tomorrow, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4. No, at 7. Tuesdays and Thursdays we're live. So join the conversation there. We will see what we'll be talking about tomorrow. So do join the conversation. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these match reaction videos. And until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.